Heidi ho folks, and welcome to a brand new video. Today in No Man's Sky I'll basically be running you through a full harvest of this Stasis Device Test Farm. This farm is essentially the testing farm for a project that I've been working on now for a little over 2 months and is releasing tomorrow. Yes, the Stasis Device Mega-Guide is releasing tomorrow at 5 PM GMT, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But as just a little precursor to that, I'm going to show you a full unedited run, timed, of this Stasis Device Test Farm. Oh no, I left some walls. I did a few last minute changes and some scaffolding and walls there, so I need to get rid of those before I upload this. But yeah, I'm so proud of the pylons in this one. They're a tad ridiculous. So yeah, basically there's 5 bases. Each of the bases tackles a specific thing, so this first one tackles nitrogen and paraffinium as well as the carbon and cobalt refinery. Then we've got 4 more, 2 more for gas, 2 for crops, so we'll get to those very shortly. Right, so let's get this thing started. So the first thing we're going to do is to do the refiners. So first we need to pick up a bunch of carbon really, because we're going to need 160 carbon and 960 oxygen for each of the 8 refiners, and then 160 cobalt and 960 oxygen for the other 4. So we'll just grab a bunch here. That's probably largely enough. And we'll just go around in a big circle grabbing the oxygen. Now obviously this is more oxygen than we need, but as long as we don't have more of the carbon than we need in each one, so we can just split the stack here to 160. As long as we don't have more than we need of the carbon, then it'll only, make exactly what we need. So let's whack that in each one. Them being in completely separate silos allows me to not have to split the stacks. So yeah, it's like a big plus. I've tried using a macro, and it took longer. Yeah, that wasn't giving me the okay to take stuff out sign thing. So let's put another 160 in there. Essentially, with each of these, we need 2,400 of the final form. So that's 8 sets of 2,400 of the condensed carbon and 4 sets of the ionized cobalt, which results in a total of 9,600 of the ionized cobalt and 19,000. Nearly forgot to get that. 19,200 of the condensed carbon, which is exactly what we need for 64 stasis devices. It always throws me off when there's still some oxygen left from a previous time, because I need to use X instead of just clicking it. And Shawadi. Hopefully I haven't forgot to turn any of these on when I've been going round. When you're trying to be somewhat quick, that's always a thing that just happens. Okay, that has 6,000 in it. Why the Schnell does that have 6,000 in it? I don't know, but we can skip collecting the oxygen from one of them. Because why? Why not? And Shadaisy. Plus, one of the reasons we don't want to go too high in both is that essentially if we do, then it'll just take longer than it absolutely needs to take. Also, I've just realised I've now been putting condensed carbon in these ones, which is fine because ran out of carbon here, which is fine because I can just put the cobalt in these other 4 that we got left. Because essentially, just to repeat, we need 8 condensed carbon, 8 ionized, 4 ionized cobalt. So I'm trying to think of too many things at the same time here. It's not going well. I'm not really well equipped for that. So let's grab our cobalt from up here. Yeah, I actually moved this. I originally had this in between. Where is it? Those 2. I know we're on a timer here, but you can't rush everything. Plus, I want this to be a fairly realistic one, so I want this to be somewhat relaxed. Just because, why is that there? Just because the majority of people aren't going to make this like the speediest thing they could possibly make. they're going to just do this chilled out and regularly. So it's kind of pointless if my quickest run is the one we go by, to a degree. And whacker, excellent. We've nearly done with the annoying parts now. Let's just whack that in. Unfortunately, there will be a small amount of waiting, just because the second run takes a little bit longer than the first run. As you can tell, as we've been going round, they've all been completing, which is one of those annoying things because they're not doing anything, but you know they're going to have to be going like a mad shortly. So this is the last one. We'll just whack that oxygen. It's in the bottom one this time. What a surprise. So just whack this in. Obviously for survival permadeath this is a different process, less refiners, more work. But right now, so now we just need to move that 400 over from the output to the input for each one. And that will result in 2,400. So yeah, when it comes to survival and permadeath, because in normal mode you can hold 4,095 at most in the output and 9,999 in the inputs. When it comes to survival and permadeath, this is 250 for all inputs and outputs. So that massively limits us with how simple we can make this. Instead of being 2 pass like this is, or even 1 pass if you really want to do it and kind of either wait longer or risk it as you're elsewhere. If you're going to do that, essentially it turns those like a 1 or 2 pass into 19 pass, a 19 pass, but my voice broke then. But the passes are far quicker. So it might actually be slightly quicker to do it in the survival and permadeath way with 8 refiners, and you're basically just going around in a constant circle, standing in the same place, and just moving output to input, adding oxygen when needed. And it requires less overall resources as well. It's slightly more efficient, but obviously a lot more work and a lot. So yeah, basically this is far more relaxed. As you can see, I'm now waiting for this to finish. That's got another 40% to go. So while we are waiting, I'll pick up the paraffinium and the nitrogen. So we got 3,250 there. What we need is 3,200 plus from the paraffinium and 32,000 plus from the nitrogen. This is the same for all biome and gas things, which is, you know, for the next one we were going to, it's radon and oxide, then the one after it's phosphorus and sulfurine. So we'll keep our eye on this one because that was the first one to be planted. As soon as that's done in its last few percent, we'll pick them up and we'll head off. This is probably the longest single part of this entire harvest. Well, it definitely is. The crafting could be longer depending how quick you are, but yeah, for me and anyone on PC who fancies using macros, which don't worry, I've got you covered there. It's all in the guide coming out tomorrow. Oh, that's odd. Why did that stop? There you go. That's a very odd little bug there, but anyway. It's probably because I entered it just as it was finishing or something. But now they should all end just before I get there, and it should all be good. So yeah, if you've got any questions for all this stuff, because obviously this is going to raise a lot of questions. The guide is coming out tomorrow. It's very long. It's exceptionally comprehensive. All your questions will be answered. So I would request that you, like, you know, give the guide a shot before before the flood. Oh, I took my time getting to this one. Come on. Oh, what happened there? Oh, did this somehow create like a clone or something? We'll leave that going for the second. And see, that might be a little accidental exploit glitch thing. So have we got the 9,600? That is my starship. Yes, so we got the right amount. It seems we had a bit of a bug there. So anyway, now we can, we don't want to be too slow. So we can jump over to the next base, which is Xaine Stasis Farm. This is called Xaine Stasis 2. they'll be there. So this next farm and the farm after is going to be a very quick run in, grab the gas and biome, then teleport again. Because that really is all it is. Because this first step required the refining, it's so much longer. And here we are. So we'll just run as soon as I can. Hit tab to get rid of that. And there's our radon. So just grab that. I hope everything's fine in this and I'm not missing something. That would suck. Man, that would suck. And then we'll just go straight back to the terminus. Go to Xaine Stasis 3. Was that next? There we go. Hells yeah. So we're already past the second one. We're on to the third one now. The fourth and fifth are crops. So they'll be harvesting. The fourth is the circuit board farm. And yeah, it's super quick. I've employed some very efficient and nice aesthetically pleasing stuff. Oh, come on, get rid of that. So yeah, that's should be under a minute. Everything's good here. So we've got all our gases. Obviously on survival and permadeath, you will be wanting to move some things around. We just go to number 4, which is here. Excellent, Skyport. Number 4, the one we're going to now, is probably my proudest as far as aesthetics go. It's kind of a beautiful base. Sounds like a boast, and it kind of is. But it's also super efficient, so you'll see. I think we can harvest it in about a minute, maybe less. So for this, we'll just sprint forward. And we've even got walls here to stop you getting caught on the front there. Then as we run past, we just grab all these. You might be thinking this is a weird setup. Don't worry, everything explained in the guide coming out tomorrow. I feel like I'm teasing a bit too much now. I'm being mean. I'm sorry, guys. Shaba. We're past halfway through this one. Just gotta make sure we don't miss any. Lovely. You could do this quick, but I'm just making sure we grab everything. Right, that is this farm done. I know you didn't see a massive amount of this farm, but don't worry, I'll be doing tours and stuff for all the big farms. Here we go. Godzilla's Den. This is the last one coming up now, which is the living glass farm. And then we'll just get crafting, basically. Yes. Exciting stuff. Well, I find this stuff exciting. It's fun. I didn't actually set a time for myself, so I won't know exactly how long this took until I start editing. So this farm is a slightly different design. This kind of more follows like what Sword has been doing. I did kind of steal and refine from Sword. And yeah, it's basically Sword's latest farms, but with less to run because they're slightly close to each other. And by less, I mean less than half, I think, at this stage. But yeah, and we're done. Right, so everything is now, harvested. This is everything we need for 64 stasis devices. So we may as well start crafting. First, let's do the thermic condensate and nitrogen salts, or shall we do alloys first? Yeah, do alloys. So with my macros that auto harvest, we'll just do that. And basically, it's a macro that just repeatedly presses a key really quickly. Oh, and I sometimes forget to turn it off. And yeah, so don't worry, all these macros fully explained and included in the guide. And this speeds this process up immeasurably. You just need a redisite. And this does make 65 just because of the extra little bits, but you'll just have a bit extra left over. So now we'll go to nitrogen salt and stuff. You need 128 of each nitrogen salt, thermic condensate, and the other one which has escaped me, enriched carbon. That's the one. These are the gas ones that use gas and condensed carbon. The reason I suggest you have the You have the refinery at the start is so that if you're on survival permadeath or you have a limited inventory, you are able to craft like the alloys and the gas items as you go. So now that is all done for those, we can start doing like the semiconductors. Want to make sure we don't do too many of those. Okay, so 40, so we need another 24. So we'll stop it there and just go back a bit. Perfect. And then we'll make the semiconductors, and we need 64 of those. Just because of space, we just have to do them a few at a time. Excellent. So now they're done, we should have some more space in here. Excellent. So now we need the other ones, which I've kind of forgotten what they are. Hot ice, that's another one we need. So just grab 64 of these. And we'll just manually do the last bit. Perfect. And then we need the cryo pump. Oop, there we go. Cryo pump 64, perfect. Now we just need to put together our crop items. So we need 64 heat capacitors. Perfect. We need 64 polyfiber. Lovely. Come on, son. Excellent. We now also need 64 lubricant. Now the big one is the glass. So before we do that, we're going to do the circuit boards and make some space, because yeah, it gets big. So now we can also make, where is it? There we go, quantum processors. Excellent, that's freed up a bit more space. Now we need to make the glass, which you need 5 per living glass, so it takes up a lot of space and makes these macros just beautiful. Okay, so that's all the glass we could hold. Let's make some more. We've got our ship and freighter if we really need space. That was all the space there. So now move to ship. As you can tell, this would be a real issue to do all at once when it comes to survival permadeath. So now go to living glass. And hopefully we can do all at once. No, not quite. There we go. We should now have all the stuff we need. So we can just go to cryogenic chamber. And that's 64. And the last one, let's move to the cargo so we can do it all in one go, because I like it when it's like that. Right, 64 stasis devices and go. So stop the timer, I guess. We've now got 64 stasis devices, a few extra things just like that, and like a redder site and stuff. We just now are at the stage where we could just sell this. You can easily sell these 64 stasis devices for just over 1 billion units. And we made that in that very short time that is on the screen now. So yeah, I'm guessing due to previous tests, it's around the 15 to 17 minute mark. A previous test I did, which I kind of had issues with the video, that came out at around 16, but there was definite improvements I could make. Again, I was trying to go for a chilled out one. As you could tell by my voice and stuff, and the fact that I stopped to think at times stuff, I wasn't treating this like a mega speedrun. This kind of sets the proof in there that with even more refinement, especially looking at the refining itself, this could get as low as being able to do 4.3 billion an hour. So yeah, over multiple farms obviously, or just make bigger farms. This farm setup is perfectly viable for PS4. This is over 5 planets, 5 different bases in the same system. And this is set up within the UAS and stuff. So basically, if you want to know how to make this, learn every possible thing about stasis devices and just general farming really, because I really do go in depth. I go deep, and I'm concise as well in it. I spent a lot of time refining this guide. So if you're interested, check it out tomorrow, 5 PM GMT on Xaine's World channel. I'm pretty sure the most veteran players will learn something in this guide, because I found a few things that weren't known. So that's That's one thing, as well as everything that was, and just extras. So yeah, check it out, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little preview slash pre-release video teaser thingamadoo. Have an awesome day. Check out the merch, Discord, website, everything linked below, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow at 5 PM GMT. Check it out.